may I invite Mr. Kothandaraman Sridharan, CEO of Clever Insight Private Limited, San Jose, CA, United States of America. Mr. Sridharan.
Okay, good morning to you. My evening is pretty young today. It is 2 o'clock in the morning at San Jose. I'm very happy to be associated with Shiv Nadar University as well as the Policy Times. Panel topic, what is given to me is the digital disruption in education. I'm going to talk on the implementation of the bleeding edge technologies and the regulation that has to be implemented while we do all these technologies. So we all know that a lot of technology disruption has happened in the last 10 years, but in the next 5 to 10 years, there is only one technology that is going to disrupt the education. Of course, Dr. Richard said that, there is a fear for the artificial intelligence. Yeah, any new things come, there will be hiccup in the society. Anyhow, during this disruptive technology, the king of the disruptive technology, there is only one that is called gorilla monster technology. It is nothing but AI and data science. Whether we like it or not, that is going to come. As per the picture on the slide, I hope you see the picture on the slide, you see the gorilla. The one gorilla is really feeding one lady, other gorilla is ready to eat the other person. What does it mean? If you implement AI and data science nicely, we will have excellent success. If we don't do, we will have a lot of problems. That is what this particular story about AI. Let me now go to the agenda, what I am going to do. As I said, I'm going to talk about the implementation part of the new technologies. Number one, what are the 5 major scientific revolutions that has happened in the last 3 centuries and what is going to happen in the next 50 years? Number 2, what are the focus areas to implement the disruptive technologies? Number 3, who are those 5 stakeholders? To implement such technologies, you need 5, there are stakeholders. I am having 5 stakeholders in this. The last point, what are the action plan to tackle those disruptive technologies? Just briefly about our company, we focus on the SaaS-based data science and artificial intelligence. We also have AI Foundation that focuses on public education, agriculture, and public health. Anybody welcome to join in that. Right now I'm in US, we have an office in Bangalore, India. Now the 5 major scientific revolutions, all of us know, 300 years back, the transportation revolution happened, that is locomotive. 250 years back, communication revolution happened, that is phone. Around 200 years back, the light revolution happened, that is electricity. Around 50 to 30 years back, the silicon and internet revolution happened. It is really hot now. The current one is AI and the technology. I just want to give, what is this revolution from AI? Do you know in the next 10 years, the daughter is sitting in Jaipur, can smell what food is made by her mother at Mysore. The disruptive technology make the daughter even to predict that her mom is going to make masala dosa next time. That is what AI technology. Next one. Do you know, after 10 years probably, one need not go to the clinical lab, but one can get the results spontaneously like blood test or stool test from his house itself. The disruptive technology can predict the abnormalities of the body, and then it can really, suppose a person is going to get cancer after 8 years or 9 years. This technology is going to tell well in advance so that he can solve the problem before he get the cancer. It is not only in medical area, whether it is law or retail or astronomy, engineering, science, AI is going to play a major role everywhere. The next 5 to 25 years, it is going to rule the world. But as Dr. Richard said, it might take some jobs, but it will create some jobs also. But the key thing is that the regulations have to be done properly. If you don't have the proper regulation when you do artificial intelligence, it will really backfire us. Now, the second point, what I want to talk about, the 5-year focus areas to implement technology with AI at the fulcrum. Number 1, everywhere the cloud computing with cyber security is a very important one, which is everybody is using it. But we have to be very, very careful when you use this technology, especially for the education institutions. Minimize the investment on capital budget, but invest on operational expenses. This gives leverages to bring new technology as and when they emerge. The second one, the augmented reality. This is a very, very interesting one. a biology student or mechanical engineering student sitting from his home or sitting from his college, he can really see what is happening on other side. It is an interactive experience of real world environment. Here the objects of the reside in the real world and enhanced in front of you. This can be used in any area, including medical or mechanical engineering. Next one, flexible displays. You know, during the online tutoring in the last 9 months, people are using the laptop and phone. In another 4 or 5 years, the flexible displays, the screen is going to be like a paper. It is going to be like this. So flexible displays is going to replace the phones and other devices. It is going to be very, very cheap. It is affordable one. The world is going to become the flat in education area anytime soon. The other one, very important one, is game-based learning. This is also coming up very aggressively in US. It stimulates the student to learn quickly with a game-based approach. This is the next one is the dynamic assessment with the Montessori approach. You know what I mean is that we can tailor make the system for each and every student to specialize in the area of expertise. Due to technology disruption, dynamic assessment can be implemented and tune the kids as per the interest level. You know, it is not necessary that the particular student has to learn all the subjects. Suppose if you are able to find what is his strength, we can fine tune the curriculum for that particular student, and then we can make him to graduate the 12th grade. You know, I'm not talking about the university students. That is the dynamic assessment model is automatically available nowadays. The last one, I don't know how many of you know about it. We are going to have the contact lens where it is going to have internet access. We need not have the phone and other aspects. There is a good thing, there are bad things. You know, suppose you give it to the student, he will blink his eyes and he can open the Google and then get the answer on the right. So we have to really be very careful when we implement such technologies. Of course, the fulcrum is always AI. That is what the bleeding edge technology is going to be AI. Now, who are the 5 stakeholders? The first stakeholder is the student. I categorize the student into 3 areas. One, the students who are coming from rural areas. How to groom those rural students so that they can compete with urban students. Number 2, on the right-hand side, how to really produce classic world-class students from the university so that they can compete globally. On the top one, there are a lot of students. There's an abundance of opportunity to become entrepreneurs and startup companies. These are the 3 types of students that are the one of the stakeholders. The second stakeholder and third stakeholder, you know, the parents are going to be the second stakeholder. If you really see the pattern of the parents today, most of them are going to be the millennials. You know, the millennials started 1981. The parents are now 40 years old. Those parents have to deal their children. The millennial has to manage the new generation team. So the psychology effect for those parents are going to be tough. And the next one is the NGOs. In fact, you know, I see Sri Mishra is there. You know, how to really help the rural students so that they can compete with the urban students. Here, a couple of NGOs in Karnataka, I have seen them. They have adopted around 30 schools in Bangalore, and then they are able to really groom them, and then they are able to move them to the good universities. So this is the second and third stakeholder. Who is the fourth stakeholder? Obviously, the education institutions. Now, the education institutions really should see globally. It is not just you get the business in Jaipur or Mysore, you can really get business around the world. How to maximize the benefit for education institutions? This is the fourth stakeholder. The fifth one, of course, the corporate companies. Already, I think they are deeply involved with the education institutions. I think if you really have a proper combination with the education institutions and corporate companies, there are wonderful things can happen. All these things, technology, disruption, can be handled with these 5 stakeholders. 5 action plan is that, you know, already I talked about how to improve the students' individual performance, how to customize the plan. These are opportunity for corporate companies and institutions, how to customize the planning and dynamic positioning. And third one is productivity improvement to the education system. You know, the teachers are going to play a major role. The next one is how to improve the rural students. Already I talked about NGOs, parents and students and teachers. The last one, but of course, is a tough one. The international brand building. The government and institutions really have to play a major role. So this is called Swift Salvage Sketch and the 5 action plans.
Thank you so much. I think you have virtually, Mr. Sridharan, laid the roadmap, and particularly your emphasis on bridging that divide, the digital divide, was really important. How to mainstream the rural audiences, the people in the rural areas onto this, and the importance of bringing the parents on board. That's also equally important. Thank you very much, Mr. Sridharan.